be signed. Moving forward to item number 9, comments from the city council. Councilmember Holland.
Nothing much, just, check out the city events page, I think, Reagan's playing this weekend, Marva, and I think there's a demolition derby Saturday. And then, there's a 4th Friday, I think it's the last one of the, September 27th, our next meeting, so check them out.
Thank you. Councilman Marshall.
I'd just like to congratulate Mr. Thompson and the folks at the Marvin Theater on a very successful last showing of the movie theater. They were expecting 80 people, and I think about 300 showed up. So it's just a testament to the hard work and a little bit of community activity we do. It was good to see. It was like old times in there, and the popcorn was so cheap.
Thank you. Councilwoman Marsh.
No comments tonight.
Thank you. Councilwoman Downey.
No comments.
Thank you. Moving forward to comments from the mayor. I do have a couple tonight. The first thing that I want to start with is we want to congratulate Kara Lacey for being promoted to our economic development coordinator. Kara comes and continues in business with the city with almost 11 years of experience. We're excited about where she is going to take the economic development position. With that being said, we need people to sign up for our Economic Development Commission. Did you check your emails?
I did. Thank you.
We've been having trouble, and being transparent. We've been having trouble finding some of our ordinances from around the time where Scott and I came in. And luckily, we do have longevity here to remember when we passed it, or at least what season it was, or something like that. I was able to go and do a search in some old files and an old email address and an old email account, and we were able to find Resolution 525 that we passed in 2019, creating our Economic Development Commission. Fortunately for us, the framework has already been laid. Councilwoman Marsh was actually one of the first members of the Economic Development Commission. So once we're able to establish the commission and get members back together, I will be able, and Councilwoman Marsh will be able to as well, provide the necessary documentation and even provide where we kind of left off at, to make sure this commission is successful. So Chris, we've got Jen. We might as well hook you a little bit. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, I want to let you all know that we have set a date and time for phase 2 of our SIP line project that is funded by the federal government. Phase 2 for our SIP line project will start in the spring of 2025. I know some of you are saying, why can't it start earlier? Well, we are predicting that we could potentially have some bad weather, and we don't want to do more damage than good. So it's safer to start in the spring of 2025. Some would say, well, where is it going to be? Well, this time it's going to start at 7th Street, and it's going to go all the way up to Front Street. So that is going to cover a lot of District 2. It's going to cover District 3. We just got finished in Districts 1 and District 5. It's also going to cover District 4. So we're pretty excited because phase 2 is going to cover the majority of the town. We definitely want to thank Ms. Matthews for her work on that. Brandy's been working diligently to make sure that we had funding for this project. Pocomoke City is in a great place, and we're in a great place because of the employees that we have working for Pocomoke City. No one sitting up here handles the day-to-day operations of the city. We are not commissioned, and we are not charged to do that. But we have great employees that show up to work day in and day out. They make sure that everything balances and they make sure that everything works. So council, one of my last comment, then I have some questions. I had the privilege of joining Mayor Selena Benitez from the town of Mount Rainier, Maryland for Mount Rainier Day. And I really wish that I could have grabbed y'all up and took y'all with me. I didn't know I didn't know what to expect there. But it was amazing to see them celebrating their town and to see the pride and the love that they all had for each other. Basically, what they had was in their park area, in a park area. They had every single business owner in their town under their own tents for minimal. And the residents were coming and they were shopping and they were buying. They had parade, they had food vendors, all of the things we have right here in our city. We have caterers, we have people that make jewelry, we have people that specialize in crafts. CL and Mondo up here, both of them specialize in a form of craft. You know, they have farmers out there. They were selling their produce. It was an amazing sight to see. And I would really like for us to have a Pocomoke City Day in 2025. Now, we've tried to do a Pocomoke City Day before, and both times we tried to do it, it's rained. So I'm hoping in 2025, we can have a Pocomoke City Day without the rain, and it actually rained there, but they kept on going. Now, you know me, when it started raining, I got in my car and I made my way back to the Eastern Shore. But they did keep going. It was an amazing sight to see. It was amazing to see how their community embraced each other. And you could tell that there were different pockets in their community, but the way that they embraced each other on that day. So I hope to see that. In the last council meeting, I asked for us to receive an update on the comprehensive plan, and I was wondering if that was prepared. I know that we didn't receive anything through email, but I know that I did ask that it be presented in this council meeting. So Mr. Barkley or Mr. Brandy, whichever one of you would like to speak to that, we would thoroughly appreciate it. I also saw an email from Councilwoman Marsh where she's been emailing someone in her district that has been complaining about vegetation and bugs. And I've also seen that Councilwoman Marsh's email really hasn't gotten a lot of traction and a lot of response. And I want to know why. If it is a viable complaint, if it's been investigated, it has been established that it is outside of Mr. Wyatt's realm of work, it is outside of his expertise, it's outside of his duties. So I want to know why Ms. Marsh has not been getting correspondence. At the end of the day, we keep talking about economic development and building out the town and building the town up. Do you realize that when someone comes into town and they ride through the streets, if they see one thing that can cause a major corporation or business, these people that we're trying to attract, these chains that we're trying to attract, it can cause them to turn around and drive out. That is the same thing with our website. If our website is not up to par, which you guys have been doing a great job managing our website as of late, but if our website is not up to par, that's one of the first places they're going to look. Let me see what this town is all about. I know Councilwoman Downing remembers back in 2018 when I came back and I said, compared to other cities' websites, our website looks horrible. Our website looked like a web page back in 2018. Not one of our proudest moments. But it has been updated. You guys are doing an amazing job. But keep in mind, when we talk about economic development and we're talking about forming commissions and promoting employees to these positions, these kinds of things have to work, or we're going to be burning rubber. And that's not what we want to do. We want to set our economic development commission up to be successful. We want to set Ms. Lacey up to be successful. Too many people contact us too often about things that they should not have to worry about. What I am pleased with is I was pleased to see that the RFP had gone out to repair our roads and sidewalks. But we also can't forget the damage that has been done to people's property lately. I got an email the latter part of last week about damages that have been done to someone's property based on some of the people that we contracted to come in and install those water meters. We need to take that seriously too. We cannot have people destroying other people's property. This city is liable. Just as I said to the gentleman from the disc golf, we're liable when something happens. Well, even when these contractors come in and they leave, we are liable. At the end of the day, the responsibility falls on the city. We've made a vow to these residents that we are going to keep them first and keep them forward, and we have to continue to do that. That's all for me tonight. I'm happy to see y'all here. I'm happy for the work we're gonna do, and I can't wait until you all vote on the RFPs we received for the road and sidewalk, the road and sidewalk repaving, and this is going to set our town up for a lot of the things that we wanted to see for years. Thank you so much, and I'm appreciative of all of you showing up tonight. Thank you. Sure.
You mentioned that it's directed at Mr. Barkley. Somewhere along the line, I saw that there was going to be a pre-award meeting for the RFPs,
Pre-bid meeting will be September 23rd. Yes, that's correct.
September 23rd.
Yes, and then bids will be due on September 3rd.
Is the September 23rd an open meeting for
Yes.
anyone can attend it? At what time? I'm
We
sorry.
did that if you want.
Thank you.
And the comprehensive plan.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We did circulate a questionnaire several days ago. It's been out. Could use additional help in marketing that better because we do want to get that questionnaire out to the community. We also worked with GMB and the consultant on our water and sewer capacity plan. That's a very important document that we need to have updated. That's going to determine how much we can grow, how much we can accommodate as far as industrial, commercial, residential development. I actually just sent that out to the Planning Commission just for them to take a look at the meeting on Wednesday. We worked on the bike trail component. We've got that put together. I think that's a component of our recreational future plans. We have been working on the Cypress Park floodplain study, and that's an additional recreation component.
When's the meeting?
I'm sorry, what?
The meeting?
When?
Yes,
Wednesday,
it's Wednesday.
Mhm.
Wednesday at 11 a.m.
5 o'clock.
No, I'm talking about the meeting with the state. Was that today?
Meeting with the state. Oh, the Critical Area Commission. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. They have circulated a draft plan. It does modify some critical area boundaries. About 10 or 11 properties are included in an additional regulatory area. We don't think it affects any commercial industrial development potential. They will be setting up a public hearing and notifying all the property owners that their property could be brought into a critical area, regulated area. They've sent the map. They're going to send it again with a list of those properties that are affected. Mostly they're around the Newtown Boulevard, Lowe's area. So beyond that, they're going to move forward with the draft ordinance to circulate back to the city. We were exempt from the critical area back when they adopted it in the 90s, I think. And then we annexed properties subsequently to that effort. So we never had to have a critical area ordinance. But now with other properties brought in over time, we do have to have that ordinance in place, which provides guidance in terms of keeping area too close from the water, requiring tree plantings, mitigating disturbances in the critical area and that sort of thing. So we had that meeting today.
Thank you. It is crucial that we get a critical areas ordinance before the mayor and council, before the winter is in full effect. I did have the pleasure at one point of serving on our state critical areas commission. I learned a lot and it was hard work. It was a lot of meetings, it was a lot of people, it was a lot of neighbors that came out and just didn't cover this area, but some things, there were some things far away, but some things were right in our backyard here. Pocomoke has, been exempt from a lot of it. But it is time for us to, start working on that. And to address your questionnaire, have any of y'all received this questionnaire?
And how
You
is
did?
it sent out?
It's sent out by email, I think, on 2 or 3 occasions for your feedback and comments, and I think we sent out the final to you as well.
No, we're talking about when you send it out to the citizens.
Yeah. And
We didn't mail out any individual packets to the citizens. We talked about putting it on the web, which I think is up on the web, but we did not put it out yet as a direct mail.
Okay, so when you say send it out, we were under the impression that you meant you were mailing it out.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, we can do
Okay.
that.
So do me a favor, work with Mr. Barkley, design a flyer, design a postcard to send out asking with the website where people can fill it out at.
Mhm.
And let's try to get as much pull as we can.
Yeah, like we can do that. I hope to have several chapters updated, hopefully by December. It's my goal. Permit activity is starting to slow down a little bit. So they're not going to be complete rewrites. They're going to be condensations of those chapters, updating it, and possibly including the 2014 component with the updates so that we can look at where we were and how we changed over that 10-year period.
Absolutely, but we want citizen input.
Sure, absolutely.
Mr. Bandy, you did send us several drafts for input. Could you make sure that we receive a copy of the finalized?
Yeah.
of the fi-
We can do that.
You know, is this the survey that you and that I sent to you? This is the one that you make changes to?
I'm sorry, what?
The survey that I sent to you, is this a survey that's going out to the public, or did you make changes to it?
Yeah, we made several changes, minor changes, but they were updated. I think Councilman Marshall had some suggestions. All the council people, I think, had input to it.
The only thing I would like to see is I would like to see an online version of it. We appreciate paper, but we need to save some trees. I definitely would like to see an online version of it.
And also instructions on that folks can come here and pick up a hard copy, because not everybody is computer literate
Mhm.
or have computers.
Thank you, Mr. Brandywood.
Thank you.
Give us a second. We gotta get comments from the city manager, then we go into comments from the audience. Moving on to our next item, comments from our city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. You stole a lot of my thunder there with this last few items that I was gonna report to you on, but I thank you for asking questions of staff and making sure that we are providing you proper updates on all of our projects that we're working on. Because it's important that you know first, because you are the ones that go to Walmart and people come up and ask you stuff while you're there, and you can't avoid that. So we're always happy to provide as many updates real time as we can. We're also looking at the CIP for just to add to the comp plan explanation. Dan and I have talked about the CIP, and I'm taking that on as updates for projects that have either come to fruition or have been initiated by the city council since the CIP was originally approved by the city council, because stuff keeps happening. And so we want to update that as well, and then we'll put a version of it online.
I see that, Mr. Barkley, not to interrupt you, but I see that you did pick up the cybersecurity grant.
Yes,
That I sent in.
yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll have that in by, I think, the end of next week is the deadline, hopefully before the actual deadline day, but I'm as guilty as anybody in procrastinating, so it might be the day that it's due. But it will go, and the city council will be apprised of what we're working on. In terms of cybersecurity improvements and remediation of our current system. Let's see. Rental registration, we're headlong in. We've got 30 rental inspections done at this point. We're moving along. We appreciate the landlord community, the property management community for their support of this project. Not everybody was terribly pleased when the city council initiated this project, but the purpose is clear. Let's bring the standard up for everybody, and not just internally within residences, but outside aesthetically and everything else. It's going to really help the city look better. Not just on the gateways in, but throughout. When you drive or walk or ride your bike through the city, it's really going to make a difference. It already has. And I appreciate what Mike Wyatt is doing and Lacey over in code compliance in being so welcoming to those who are participating in the program involuntarily. They have been very good customer service agents for the city, good ambassadors for us when they're out there, because they're the ones out there in the field dealing with people face to face. And you have the really good landlords that are buttoned up and set it up and do it right every time. And they even understand, and they've been supportive that we're trying to bring the standard up from the other end of it. And so I think we've got buy-in across the city. And it makes me feel good to know that, because I wasn't sure how people were, having been relatively new here, I wasn't sure how people were going to react to this. But I'm really happy with the response from all. And we're trying to create a checklist for all landlords that are involved in the rental program of things that need to be brought into compliance, so they don't have to piece through, it's a long list. And so we're providing them with, here's what we looked at, here's what you need to do. And they appreciate that very much. The issue on infestation of pests within a private home can be a little tricky sometimes. We have certain authority in the code having to do with nuisances, having to do with public health and safety and threats to both that may emanate from a private residence and cause problems for other people. We're working that angle right now, but we're also in touch with Worcester County Health Department to see what they have to offer to us in terms of any services that we might be provided on our behalf by the county, who has fleet of health inspectors that do this.
The one thing that troubled me the most about what I saw in the email was that the house is supposed to be vacant and that there is someone squatted in the property. That was the most troubling of it all. Bugs happen, right? Vegetation happens, but the fact that there is a squatter, and we don't have a policy for squatters or anything like that. That was the part, that was the issue that kind of was the tip of the iceberg for me really to ask something about it.
The squatters and not renters.
Well, in the email, in your email, it said that the property was supposed to be vacant.
Well, it was my understanding the property was condemned, but I don't know if it's been, I don't know what term you use, uncondemned. But I have had reports from several people, and I've seen myself that there's multiple people living there, but I don't know their status. I don't know whether they're renters or squatters. And there's a shopping basket again tonight. Right by a shopping basket. We've got a lot of those right now, but so I don't know whether it's squatters or renters or there's just people there.
We're in the midst of it. I don't have a lot of concrete answers for you, but we're looking hard at that particular property. And we're going to set a precedent for other properties in the way that we respond to this situation. I just don't have concrete answers for you yet, because we're still a little bit new to this, at least I am, to this situation. As Mike looked at it and said, okay, there's nothing there that I can really enforce in code compliance. I'm not so sure that's necessarily true, and we're working through that right now, but Mike is very aware of what he can and can't do within the boundaries of the city code. But there are a few things that I think we can pressure, including getting the police department involved and a couple of other agencies, both externally and internally, to zero in on this situation and then send a message that, hey, this is what we're going to do if there are other situations that are like it. So that's where we are with that. SIP line, the mayor very articulately explained where we are with that. Very pleased with the fact that they're going to be finishing on time and on budget here. We've even got contingency money that we can put forth to phase 2 if we care to. We also received roughly $800,000 from EPA for the next phase of the SIP line project that will take or defray a lot of the pressure we may have had to utilize our ARPA funds if there is a shortfall going forward. I think Randy's here, she can correct me if I'm going off on the wrong path there, but that's good news all the way around. Another $800,000 doesn't hurt as far as I'm concerned, so we're real happy about that. And so moving on, just a reminder to folks who hear SIP line, that's cured in place piping. And that is a way to seal off the lead and copper residual from coming off the pipes in the system. So as the mayor mentioned, we're going to move on to phase 2 and expand it out a little bit. And it really has to be a comprehensive SIP line project to keep all the lead and copper, obviously, from infiltrating your drinking water and your faucet. But we're getting there, and phase 1 is a good example of the city taking this on and getting through that first phase. We apologize for the inconveniences. We've heard from people. We're trying to work with people, both minor and major inconveniences having to do with the project. I think Mainline America has been real good with the flaggers and sealing off certain areas and helping us get through because Pocomoke City does have a rush hour. I didn't know that when I got here, but there is a rush hour here. No question about it. So we're working with them to prepare for the next phase and do a better job having to do with people's driveways and damage to vehicles and other certain annoyances that we've heard from people that are happening. So we're working on that as well. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any updates on preventing trucks from coming off 13 on the winter quarters? Some of the worst sidewalks in my district are that block.
Yeah.
And until we can prevent the trucks from coming. And I had someone report to me the other night that, and I've heard them too, and just kind of thought, I'm dreaming or whatever. But there's a number of trucks that are coming in the middle of the night too.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Well, there's a new sign up at 13 in winter quarters, as you had pointed out.
sounds
We're-
like, what else are we doing? I suggested
Police.
contacting
It's patrols.
the state highway, because we met 2 months ago yesterday.
Yeah.
They have a program where you can set up, if necessary, restricted, truck zones. We talked about bollards that we can certainly put on our property, not on that triangle, which you and Mr. East pointed out to me that was state. But the signs aren't working. And what's happening now is a number of the vehicles, including school buses, I had someone knock on my door the other day. And because they can't maneuver at that corner, and they've learned some of them that they can, they're now diverting, I don't know what the name of the one street is, and then they're going down Center Street, which is almost destroyed at this point.
Yeah.
So something needs to be done, and something needs to be done pretty quickly.
I mean, I don't necessarily see any type of solution to stop trucks from coming through there. It is unfortunate, but I don't see a solution. And Mr. Barkley, I feel like it would be easier for you to just tell Councilman Marsh, hey, it's really not a solution versus saying, hey, I'm gonna look into it. Because just in my opinion, and my opinion could differ from yours, I don't necessarily see a solution for that. The next street has already become a one-way street. What do we do, especially when you're coming off of state property onto city property, and then you're going up again to state property when you hit Market Street?
security footage, cameras, that's where we're headed with a lot of different aspects of the service that we provide. That's the first thing that Chief Hancock and I talked about, right in that vicinity. Police patrols don't hurt, but you're only as good as you can enforce the signs that you have. So more signs and more,
But see, here's the thing, right? With police patrol, they gotta turn on the street first. It's gonna defeat what Councilwoman Marsh is saying. They're gonna turn on the street, then the police are gonna stop them. But then where do they go? Right? Where are you gonna, yeah, what you're gonna tell them, oh, you've gotta turn around? Well, that's.
And there's a discrepancy in the signage as well. The sign on 13, before anyone makes the turn, says, and forgive me, I'm paraphrasing, no trucks over 7,500, empty. But once you make the turn, there's a sign that says, no trucks. So it seems to me that the sign that says no trucks should be on 13 and then again on winter quarters. But part of the issue is that GPS is directing people there. And I looked it up last year when I became aware of the situation. There's a way that you can go into and have GIS or something changed so that GPS will stop directing that way. But, you know, we talked about those little poles. There's, I think, 2 of them on the state triangle. If we put on our property, I don't know what the solution is, but that corner, they can't, I even saw, not even a big rig. It looked like a furniture truck. And it wasn't, I don't think it was like whatever the furniture store is. Yeah, I don't think it was their truck, but it was about that size that they were having a hard time maneuvering. And I guess it has to do with also the driver's skill. But I stood on that corner with a standoff for 15 minutes to prevent a truck from coming in, destroying my sidewalk in the gutter. And what happens is when they come down that way and they realize they can't make the turn, they want to go up 2nd Street the wrong way.
If they're both
And
going
when
one
they
way.
realize they can't get through because of the cars parked on the side of the road, they try to back up and they can't back up onto winter quarters because there's street parking as well. So it becomes a dilemma, and the easiest thing for them to do is just,
Curb the sidewalk.
and it's happening at the corner of Clark and Linden. And it's also happening at the corner of Front Street. Although I think Front Street's a little bit easier, but it's tearing up the roads. And I've actually raced out when I caught them and taken videos of them trying to maneuver. But something needs to be done because it's destroying city property. And I don't know what vehicle it was, but maybe 6 months ago, I ended up with a huge trench up my grass where somebody or something had come up and dug as they went, and then you could tell on the gutter where they went on that and they cracked it and then they cracked the sidewalk with it. But I can't believe that there's no solution. There's got to be something, and I'm not an engineer and I don't profess to be one. But there's got to be something that can be done, and it may end up with the state a restricted truck zone because truckers. My brother had a transportation company, and there are, when they go for permits and trying to figure out which routes they're going, it's all automated now. So there's got to be something. Maybe SHA can offer some suggestions.
Well, hopefully the video surveillance will be able to pick the name off the side of the truck, then we can actually call the company and say, hey, don't let your drivers come down
And
here.
if they don't have name on the side of the truck,
You're required to.
You're required to by law.
are you?
Yeah.
So Councilwoman Marsh, I was not laughing
I know,
at you.
I know.
I just think that these types of things need to be thought out. These types of things have to be thought when we're talking about our comprehensive plan. It is the plan that is going to lead the city. So, I mean, one of the one solution is for us to make it a one-way, right? But that's not benefiting me because that's the way that I come in when I get off of work. It's
a
not-
major thoroughfare.
It's not benefiting a lot of people, because let's face it, if you're coming over the tiny, everybody knows that when you're coming over the tiny bridge, you can sit there for an extra 4 or 5 minutes versus coming down and making the turn. We all know that. If you lived in Pocomoke at any period of time or worked in Pocomoke for any period of time in your life, you know, avoid the little bridge, come down that street. So, I mean, it's gonna take some trial and error. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Barkley.
Pardon?
Yes, and thank you, Mr. Barkley.
And reminder, I will never try to appease any council member. If I don't know, I'm gonna tell you I don't know. But we are focused on this. We really are. And a walk with Council Lady Marsh, one walk with Council Lady Marsh opened my eyes to a lot.
I
A
guess
lot
I
of,
could go stand out there, you know, if somebody would bring me refreshments and I'll just wave them by. Don't do that.
Your little lemonade stand.
Yeah.
I can see her standing on the side of the road with her hair like you on TikTok. All right, we are going to move, I'm sorry, Ms. Matthews, did you have any comments tonight? Mr. Brandon, are you good for tonight? All right, we're gonna move forward to comments from the audience. Please come forward, state your name and state your address.
Rodney Sample, 127 8th Street, Pocomoke City. I have a few questions for you. I have this box on my property. And I talked with a gentleman Thursday about it from the internet company. And I asked him who gave me the authorization to put that on my property. He said someone from here upstairs zoning or something. You know, and I let him know, he was saying, well, it's not hurting anything. What that's supposed to mean to me, that's not hurting anything, that's what I pay taxes on. So then he said that, and I just heard her say, that's her sidewalk. I know it's not, it's the, right. So from the road to on the grass, he said 15 feet. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's correct?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm paying taxes on all the way to the concrete, correct? Am I right? So why am I paying all the way to the concrete, but it's 15 feet all the way on my property?
What box was this?
127 8th Street. So what I'm saying, like I told him, if that's the case, right? Cause I cut my yard, I'm gonna stop right at that 15 feet. I'm gonna stop right there. Cause I got no calls, no letters. So that lets me know I got people doing what they wanna do. I don't run like that. Not me.
Can I interject real fast?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sample reached out to me when it first got there. And I asked questions and nobody could tell me what it was. When I talked to Bill, because initially we thought that they were replacing the water meter. It was not a water meter replacement. Then we thought that maybe it was a Simple Fiber trying to lay internet. It was not Simple Fiber. So we don't know what it is. And that's concerning for me.
So I talked with the gentleman, I asked him, and he kept going on, well, it's not bothering anything. We got Comcast down there on the other property. I said, that's their property. I'm not speaking for theirs. I said, but if you look, I don't have Comcast or nothing. I said, I'm not hard to get along with, but you're not gonna tread on me. You know, cause I pay taxes, like I said, you know, and I'm gonna put up a fence. So he was like, well, that's what the city said, that we basically got 15 feet. So I came here tonight to see if that was true.
Well, the city has 15 feet.
Yeah, it's a state thing too, I think. Is it state, right, Andrew?
Yeah, it's
It's a state
it's
affair.
not a Pocomoke City
Yeah.
thing, it's a,
So,
if you lived in the county, you'd have the same, it's called an right of way easement.
Easement.
And that, what an easement means is when you buy it, it's in your deed, it says you allow the government, the local government, even up to the state government, to go 15 feet in. And then unfortunately, nationally, it can be telecommunications and they can just pass laws and say within that range, they can say, well, the best tower for 5G is right here and put in the middle of your 15 feet or so. And that's not something that would have even maybe gone through mayor and council. It seems like it's none of the local projects, it's not zip lining, it's not simple fiber, so it may be something that was beyond mayor and council's control, but that applies to everybody. It doesn't matter that you live in Pocomoke, Worcester County, Maryland, it's just sort of a national thing. And even not living in a city versus living in the county, the 15 feet for the ditch, so the county can come in and cut. So, if there might be some markings on the box, you can look into it, mayor and council can maybe follow up, city manager.
well, this guy said that he talked to someone here. Somebody had to give him the authorization to do that. So my thing is that I'm sure y'all didn't give nothing free, cause ain't nothing free in life with God, right? So with that being said, I know that whoever's running that, somebody's getting paid. They got to. You just don't come in and put something in somebody's yard. If it's that easy, I guess I can come put it in yours. And nothing be said.
They can.
I'm just saying.
They come in my yard, anybody's yard out
Yeah.
there.
But isn't that the government, not
Yeah.
the private company?
Well,
Because I had.
We don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm
We don't know
saying.
what it
That's
is.
what I'm saying. If it's government,
What's that?
I mean, they
We
can.
don't know what the box is, do we?
It could be done more.
Gosh, there's the internet.
It can be a lot of
It
things.
could be a lot of
It
things.
says the internet.
Utility companies, that they can do that within that 15 feet.
And
Mr.
then-
Mayor, I recommend it.
Then they had holes
Yeah.
and everything all on the side. Somebody could have tripped. He seen it, flooded, dug up in my yard.
They didn't even try to make it look nice.
Nah, it wasn't even presented.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Sample, if I may add, I sent pictures to Mr. Brandywee, Mr. Wyatt, and I believe Mr. Barkley. Because if you remember, I was running, it was late at night.
Right, it was late at night.
I sent pictures to them that very evening. It did not. No one has ever, I'm gonna put it to you like this, no one has ever followed up with me concerning what company it was. Simple Fiber was knocked off the list. And, the water meters were knocked off the list. I don't know what it was. Maybe Mr. Brandywee can go out to Mr. Sample's property and take a look at it and report back to us and let us know exactly who it is and what it is. And we will forward that information to Mr. Sample, because I think that, even in still, and this is something that I've been preaching for a while, even if it was Simple Fiber, or even if it was the water meters or anything like that, you have to give residents notice when you're doing projects like that. It's as simple as that. It's a common courtesy. Because if you come to my yard,
Come to mine, you know it's gonna happen.
Yeah, you're gonna
And
really
I'm-
got,
and I'm getting and I'm having my ferocious beast delivered this week, so I got even more protection. But, you're getting a dog. But I think that we definitely, in all seriousness, the city has to do a better job at communicating the people that have been given permits to do work in these neighborhoods. That's number one. I'm not gonna say that I necessarily need to know. It would be nice if I knew, but the top priority is to notify the residents that, hey, the said company has gotten a permit to do work, your area could be impacted. And that's all Mr. Sample is asking for. If he asks for, he's asking for notification. But I also believe that there's something that the city really needs to hone down on when it comes to, these companies. They should not, before the permit is even issued, notice should be sent out, and we should be able to see proof of the notice.
They might not need, well, I don't know what this is, they might not need a permit, there's things that are out of our control.
They had to get a permit.
Yeah, you gotta get a permit.
They had to get a
Yeah.
permit.
I've had 3 complaints. I've got pictures that were sent to me, and I know the company that did this. It's a private company, and the question I received was, who gave them authority to come on my property and do anything? And there is one box, and it's I agree, it's my private property. I purchased that property, and anybody coming on that property, unless it's an easement from the government, is trespassing. And people are like, where is this coming from? And damage that's been done, and they've made a concerted effort to repair anything. But nobody's been notified that this is even gonna happen. And the one situation, and I forwarded sent an email to Mr. Barkley about the permitting. Who issues a permit to a private company to come onto my property and do what they want? Is that a part of anybody has access to that 15-foot easement? And there's one box that I had to go over and look at it the other day. And Mr. Brandyway, I would appreciate if you would, and Mr. Barkley, at the corner of Second, Linden, and Winters Quarters across the street from me. I don't believe it's on personal property because it's on the opposite side of the sidewalk. But a big metal box was put in. Usually it's on people's yards without their permission. But it wasn't even backfilled. And you can see down into the hole and stuff. There's another property, I think it's 112 Linden, where I don't know what caused the damage to the yard, but I keep hearing, they need to come and fill it like 3 or whatever it is.
Right,
It sounds like you're gonna say something.
yes.
And they put down grass seed and straw, and then the question came, who's gonna pay the water bill? But something's going on and we need to get to the bottom of it. And if the city is issuing permits for private companies to go on private property, is that legal?
Yeah, I'm just saying, who's benefiting from this? See, they putting it in there so they benefit. I mean, if people just letting people come into the city and make money, if anything, they should be getting taxed from the city. They should be giving something to the city to get in here. Should never come in free. You should never come in free into a city. You just gonna come in here, boom, do what you wanna do, make money off the city and fly out? That's bad business.
Yeah, well, I think we know what the
Yes.
thing is, but we're gonna find out, I
Yeah.
can assure you that.
I appreciate it.
Between Mr. Brandyway, Mr. Barkley, the mayor, but I'm going by there tonight.
Right.
When I leave here, I'm gonna go by there.
Yeah. And there's 3 of them on, it's just on the right side of 8th Street. I walk the street.
We're gonna find out, and we'll let you, and you will be in the loop, I can assure you of that.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
y'all.
sir.
Mr. Sam, what's your first name?
Yes. Rodney.
Rodney Sam.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Sam.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the audience tonight? Seeing that there is none, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
The motion has been properly made and seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye. Those that oppose, you have the same right. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. Oh, wow.
Scott,
Pardon?
I'll be away.
I'm sorry, what was that?
You asked for some unsolicited visitors.
Oh, the big, yeah, and out those big fingers, those big hands.
Yeah, let's go.
You're fine.
Wow.
Dr. Willie W. I.